Hello everyone, this is Movie Channel. Today I will clarify an action sci-fi film called Badland: Road to Fury. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and fare thee well. Toward the start of the film we see a huge and fertile land. A youngster named Jerome Holm describes to us that he hasn't seen this land when it was green, yet his dad has. Quite a while back it used to be home to a few ranchers who developed wheat and grains on it. Be that as it may, after dry spell struck the land, not a solitary plant has had the option to develop. The majority of the ranchers left the spot, yet Jerome's dad, Ernest, trusted the land would be green once more. He actually accepts that it simply needs some water. Yet, in this world, individuals kill each other for water. In the primary scene, we see two muggers attempting to break into a minimalistic home. Sincere gets them and kills the first. The subsequent mugger attempts to persuade him to save his life, however is killed when he subtly takes a weapon out. His child, Jerome, demands he might have helped him. The house the muggers were breaking into has an old water siphon that quits working when Ernest attempts to utilize it. With no water left, the dad and child advance on a donkey to the watermen, individuals who concentrate water from profound wells through an administration bargain. Ernest trades supply with those individuals for water. He has been attempting to persuade them to give him water to develop a little piece of his property for quite a long time. Nonetheless, the watermen just do it for the perfect measure of cash that Ernest can't manage. Returning, their donkey tumbles down and breaks its leg. Sincere hesitantly shoots the creature dead. The two return home to Jerome's sister, Mary, serving them sack food. In light of water shortage, we see Mary purifying the dishes with soil. The next day, Jerome and Ernest visit Sam Lever's sale house to get something to supplant the donkey who passed on. There, a mechanical transporter machine called Simulate Shadow, Sim, gets their eyes. Ernest wins the sale against a man named Flem Lever, who additionally turns out to be Sam's child. Flem is taking part in an extramarital entanglements with Mary, obscure to Ernest and Jerome. The two then at that point go to meet Jerome's wiped-out mother, Catherine Holm. She lives in a close-by emergency clinic, where she can walk while wired to an uncommon edge. Since the edge is excessively costly, they can't bring her home. Jerome invests his energy with his mom that day. Ernest and Catherine say farewell to and separate. Coming back, Ernest and Jerome stop at a service station. We see Ernest take a swallow of petroleum subsequent to siphoning it into his vehicle. The two experience a couple with a youthful child, asking for water. The dad, Robbie, needs to sell the child since they can't bear to deal with him, yet Ernest exhorts against it and reveals to him that he'll assist them with water. Robbie is aware of Flem and Mary's undertaking, and clues Ernest towards it. At home, Ernest faces Mary about her escaping as often as possible, however she asserts that it is her opportunity and reveals to her dad that she abhors him. She takes a stab at fleeing, however Ernest secures her room and nails her window shut. One morning, Ernest and Jerome awaken to Sim missing from its shed. Somebody had taken it. Ernest accepts it was Flem and goes to his home, however discovers from Sam that he has left with a truck that morning for the mountains. Ernest then, at that point, goes searching for him to the watermen, yet they thump him oblivious. At the point when he recaptures awareness, it is as of now night. The watermen blame him for taking their provisions. Ernest demands that he didn't take them, yet their chief, Caleb, assaults him. They battle for some time, yet Ernest figures out how to get his hands on his rifle and flee from that point. Returning home, he finds Flem dozing out and about with Sim close by. Unmistakably, he had taken the machine and the watermen's provisions. Sincere focuses the rifle at him, holds him prisoner, and at that point attaches him to the machine. He needs to return Flem to the watermen to demonstrate his guiltlessness. Coming, Flem offers remarks about Mary, which rankles Ernest. In the wake of strolling for some time, the two of them get parched. Flem convinces Ernest to utilize the water from the watermen's inventory. The two plunk down to drink water and talk. Flem then, at that point, attempts to persuade Ernest to release him, and they can share the cash, yet Ernest is unyielding about getting him captured. Ernest is frail and limp, he unmistakably can't walk one more mile to the watermen. Flem knows this, so he hits Ernest with a stone, making him hit his head on a precipice. His early advantage is to drain wildly, and is thumped oblivious. Ernest awakens to him being tied rather than Flem. Flem empties water into Ernest's mouth as he shouts. Afterward, we see Flem show up at Ernest's home in his motorbike to take Mary. She joyfully heads out to him. Sincere actually hasn't been home, so Jerome goes out to search for him. He discovers the machine alone coming. At the point when he arrives at the watermen, they educate him regarding Ernest's passing. Everybody expects that it was brought about by the machine. In the accompanying scene, we see everybody grieving Ernest's demise at his burial service. Afterward, Catherine and the children cry in her medical clinic bed. At the point when they come out, Flem gets them in his truck. After Ernest's passing, Flem has now turned into the guide of the family. He quiets Jerome down as he hits him for killing his dad. Afterward, he discloses to him that Mary is pregnant with his youngster and that he cherishes her. Jerome acknowledges their relationship. Sometime thereafter, Flem goes to the watermen and converses with them about sending water to Ernest's territory. Caleb snickers at his thought, however gets cautious when Flem faults him for Ernest's demise. Flem likewise shows him a blade with Caleb's name that was found with Ernest's body. Frightened to be denounced, Caleb consents to redirect water to their field. Everybody is cheerful when the land gets its first sprinkle of water. Flem works day and night to develop wheat on the land. A couple of months after the fact, they are completely developed. Flem gets hitched to Mary and presently lives at Ernest's home with Jerome and Mary. At some point his dad, Sam, for certain men from the bank moves toward their home, taking steps to take the land due to Ernest's obligation. The obligation is a lot for Flem to pay, so he takes the machine with him and approaches his companion Robbie that evening. He thinks about Robbie's aim to sell his youngster, so he convinces Robbie to accompany him, just to perceive how much a child can be worth. In any case, when they reach there, Robbie understands that Flem has subtly made an arrangement with individuals to sell his child. Individuals attempt to remove the child, Robbie opposes it and is shot dead by Flem. This causes a shootout between the vendors and Flem flees with the cash. Nonetheless, the machine, Sim, is shot and harmed. This actuates the auto mode in the machine, which makes it get once again to its producer, Calvin Hoyman. The next day, Flem pays the bank from the cash he sold the youngster with. Jerome expects that the cash stopped by selling Sim, so nobody speculates anything. In the accompanying scene, we see Sim limping its direction back to Calvin, who lives across the line. Calvin calls the number recorded on Sim and arrives at Holmes' home. He converses with Jerome about the machine returning to him, which shocks Jerome, on the grounds that Flem had revealed to him he offered it to Robbie. Jerome inquires as to whether Robbie sold Sim's parts and it by one way or another made to the proprietor, however Flem gets irritated at him for the inquiry and excuses it. Then at that point, he discloses to them he will meet his mom that evening, yet rather he intends to cross the boundary to meet Calvin, the producer of Sim. Afterward he arrives at the line and the watchman stops him since he is too youthful to even think about intersection it. A young lady named Anna brings him over and reveals to him she knows a way he can go to the opposite side. In return for cash, she places him in a vehicle with chickens and sends him over. They meet again at the opposite side and independent. Jerome then, at that point, goes to meet Calvin. There, Calvin shows him every one of the elements of the machine. He additionally shows that the machine's eyes are cameras that were made to catch the incline for reforestation. The camera has caught all that the machine has seen. Jerome plays the accounts and sees his experience with Ernest. As he goes through it, he is frightened to see that Flem was the person who killed Ernest. That day after Ernest had acquired awareness, Flem attached him to the machine and set its objective to the waterman. The machine had hauled a harmed, however alive, Ernest to his demise. Before the finish of the video, destroys feigned exacerbation. In the evening, he gets back, however doesn't face Flem about anything. At some point, Flem and Jerome are hunting deers, after which Jerome keeps the rifle with him, concealing it under his bed for what's to come. At breakfast, Jerome informs Flem regarding Robbie calling him. Flem is shocked and blames Jerome for lying, since he realizes Robbie is as of now dead. Afterward, Flem gets a letter composed by Jerome as Robbie. A letter requests that Flem meet Robbie at a similar spot he has killed Ernest. He is befuddled by this, yet he chooses to see if Robbie is as yet alive. Later around evening time, Flem tells a pregnant Mary that he needs to go out to sell something. Mary wishes him karma, and requests that he return soon. At the point when Flem arrives at the spot, he calls for Robbie. As he strolls, he tumbles down a pit and breaks his legs. He lies there calling for help, when Jerome shows up before him. Seeing him there, Flem takes a moan of alleviation and asks him for help. Nonetheless, Jerome remains there with a stone in his grasp. Flem understands that he knows all that occurred and apologizes to him, guaranteeing it was only a mishap. He beseeches him to save his life for Mary and their youngster, however Jerome doesn't tune in. He focuses the rifle at Flem and fires him dead. It has been 2 days since the event. Mary is concerned about her husband, but Jerome encourages her to be patient. He has chosen to keep Mary unaware of both Ernest's and Flem's deaths. Because they now have enough money to purchase the ringing system their mother lives in, Mary recommends they bring her home. Jerome erases all of Sim's video memory at the end of the film. To support the channel, subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like. Thank you.